Tom will be all right, but you gotta make things right with Murph.
Don't let me leave, Murph!
When I say that love isn't something we invented, it's observable, powerful.
To organics. Possibly even to life. We might be sharing this world.
No! 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 No!
Good morning, my name is Donald. Welcome to Jared to Jared. On this week's episode, the Jareds will discuss Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, Synchronicity, C.S. Lewis. The Jareds somehow write a prologue on the same day, and much, much more. Nestle for the show.
All right, I feel like you should get us started. I feel like you always have a good discussion question. It's the professor in you. Never coming back.
I mean, we're a little bit departed from the movie at this point. It's been a minute. It's been about 3-4 days probably, but we did want to at least touch on, we did a group watching of Interstellar starring McConopod, Matthew McConaughey, and Michael Caine. Yeah. And when Michael Caine dies, he talks like this.
Seriously.
Where would you rate it on the scale of Christopher Nolan films?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because he's got an impressive corpus.
He seriously does, yeah.
Also excited about his Odysseus.
Yeah.
The Odyssey.
Yes. Gotta watch that.
Matt Damon.
Yeah. Yeah. I rate it pretty high. Interstellar, I do rate it high. It does the whole Nolan mind trip kind of thing.
Right. And
it made me think Memento was Christopher Nolan, right?
Yes.
That was like his first film, really. Right. And same thing, just goes into themes of what is memory, what is perception, what is communication, all these things, and kind of bends reality a bit. So it's within his theme.
Right. What is filmmaking too? He's got a very like house approach to directing. Mm-hmm. His writing style too, super interesting. Yeah. Not necessarily conventional.
Right.
I mean, even Interstellar itself, he tracks down the drone, and then it's Murph who figures out the sort of code that takes them to the military base. And then, it's almost like a Shakespeare-esque premise, just like sort of unbelievable. But there's like a spiritualism to it, a calling in a way, right?
That's cool. There is a blending of science and spirituality in it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
where in the beginning, McConopod, he's unbeknownst to himself, he's actually the one who's knocking the books off the shelf in order to communicate with Murph, his daughter, right? But he's doing it from the fifth dimension later on. And Murph is like, there's a ghost in my room. And it's like, no, it's not a ghost. It's actually someone communicating across time via the fifth dimension. Right. So it's taking something that would be perceived, it's taking the supernatural and turning it into science, right? And kind of blending science and supernatural, which that's there. That is a thing. That is true. I mean, technology now, people in medieval times would see our technology now and be like, that's witchcraft.
Right.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like this point, especially thinking back to one of the pods that we did. I think it was the Amityville horror pod. And we touch on, it was one of them, maybe Anointing a Leader. Nonetheless, we always like bringing up ghosts and like the spectral realm, right?
We are in J2J is into the spectral.
We're into the spectral a little bit.
Yeah.
But we were one discussion we had was we broke down the loss of the ghost story in the technological contemporary world.
Right.
And what were ghost stories to begin with? Well, to protect the village and to sort of connect with each other.
Interesting.
And, it makes us human, reminds you to be human and to stay safe and be in your communal space, right?
Right.
it actually warns against the lone wolf sort of thing, you know. But now with the industrial age, buildings, all the stuff, technology, understanding story structure, all that stuff, we have really lost our connection with the mythology of the ghost.
Right.
Boom, circle into Interstellar. We got now the ghost. Who's the only one who believes in it? Murph, right?
Right.
And what is the connection to her and the ghost that spans dimensions?
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me think too that the pod we did directly before this one was the prophets of the present.
Right.
Right. Outlining what is a prophet. And in Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey's character, Cooper, he becomes the prophet.
Right.
And he fits everything that we were saying about the prophet. He's going beyond social convention, right? Because that was a big part of it too, where he's saying, I need to do this. It's this calling. I need to go out into space. And everyone else is like, no, you're a farmer. That's what we do now.
Right.
He never let go of hope of that dream. So he pushes beyond social convention. He pushes beyond dimension itself, dimensionality.
Sure.
Goes beyond all of these boundaries.
And what's happening also is the calling. Remember, we had like a really cool, you have to have a really cool calling story, and also going from a place of shortcomings to becoming the prophet. And it's cool how he actually calls himself. It's himself who's calling him into action.
Right.
To go speak to Murph, to go build the, figure out the gravity equation. The gravity equation. Finish my work, Murph. Yeah.
Right.
So he has that archetype, right? Yeah. I like that a lot. And his then let's look at the piece sort of as him as a prophet or the head of the prophets. Then Anne Hathaway's character, the dude who stays on the ship and grows old, right? These are all sort of apostles in this storyline.
Interesting.
And they all have this arc where Hathaway is sort of this like, Nepo baby, maybe who's like the daughter of Michael Caine. And the audience also learns a lesson because we don't trust her. And then she's the one who's right. We should have went to the planet where Wolf was. Right. Because love is the only thing that spans and breaks through dimensions.
See, that's fascinating. Yeah, because they had the two. Oh, yeah, this connects to the prophet too. You're so right. Because there was the two planets they could have gone to. Forget the names of them, whatever. It doesn't matter. But there was the one planet that seemed viable and like analytically made the most sense to go to.
Yes.
And then Anne Hathaway's character was like, no, but my intuitive sense and love is pulling me towards this other planet.
Right.
And they were all like, dude, just because you had a crush on the guy who, went ahead of us to that planet, like that's ridiculous. We're not going to follow that. We need to follow the mind. Right. And then what happened? The mind led them astray, and it was actually the heart that would have led them to the correct planet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were talking about that a bit on the Prophet Pod too, where the story of the Dalai Lama and the shamanic seer who was like, you need to take this path. And the Dalai Lama goes, that makes no sense, but okay. And that's freed him or got him past the gates of the Chinese, So there is that intuitive sense of what to do and where to go, even if it doesn't make sense. So it really is that leap of faith to say, okay, like this seems totally insane, but it's something inside me saying to go with it.
Right. And he even has that sort of, he's like, doesn't want to do it yet. What's it called? It starts with an A. I'm trying to think of the word, but like not adherence, but anyways, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to go through with it. And every prophet has that sort of skepticism. They have that moment where they're forsaken, right? He drops the books at first to say, stay. Don't let me go, Murph. But then he quickly realizes that that is the wrong path. Same with Jonah. Doesn't want to go, gets eaten by the whale, spit out, saved by the gods, boom. McConopod, Jesus McConaughey, he's, stay, don't go. And then he's like, wait a minute, talking to his robot. What's the robot's name? Tars, yeah. Him and Tars figure it out, And Tars is sort of a representation of a artificial intelligence apostle within this sort of savior story.
Wow. And God, that's incredible. And there's also, we've talked about that biblical theme of God's plan, right? The unfolding plan that, in the story of Joseph, the dream interpreter in Egypt, he has all this fucked up shit happen to him in the beginning of the story. And he's, it's terrifying. He's thrown into a well. He's exiled and sold into slavery and all this stuff. And then at the end of the story, years later, he finds all this success and then meets with his brothers, who were the ones who threw him in the well. And he actually is able to save them from starvation. And they're all, we're so sorry. We were ignorant. We didn't know what we were doing. And Joseph says, it's okay. I hold no anger because look, it was all part of the plan. We didn't know it at the time, but if you didn't throw me in that well, I wouldn't now be here saving you. You know? And you see that theme happen in Arrival, right? Where it's, why are the aliens, the heptapods, coming down to give that linguistic weapon to the human beings in order to save the human race? Because 3,000 years into the future, the humans are going to save the heptapods. Right. You see that in Interstellar too. It's the kind of feedback loop of time where future meets past and then closes out the loop, closes out the story, and again, that's in Interstellar. Turns out McConaughey goes into the future, goes into the fifth dimension, travels back and is able to give his past self the message he needed to then go on the journey to complete what he would do. So it creates this strangely perfect kind of loop, right? Where it was all part of the plan, even though stay, and then you resist the plan, right? But that just becomes part of the plan, right? The mysterious ways, yes. You resist the plan, but that too is part of the path, right? Wild. So this is making me think of a triptych conversation now: Arrival, the King Lear pod, and now Interstellar. Right. Okay. Is dying for the truth worth it? Is going to Sodom and Gomorrah worth it to take the risk and going to Egypt if you're Moses or whatever? Is having the baby in Arrival, the daughter, knowing her fate, is it worth it? Still hooking up with Jeremy Renner and going on with it. Interstellar. Is it worth giving up your life with Murph? Right. To save the human race. Yeah, because he chooses to go into the He misses his daughter's entire life. He doesn't care about his son. He's not worried about that. He hates he does not like his son. Right. Timothy Chalamet is 14-year-old Timothy Chalamet. He's like, don't care about you at all. Right. Yeah. And there's no final scene with him and Casey Affleck. No, dude, so funny. Is older so funny. Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, that character just dropped. Even the writers were just like, don't care about this character. No love for Tom. No one likes him. Yeah, no one likes Tom's Tom. No one likes Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, and he's such a nice guy. At the end, I know, he's just loves his dad to the bitter end. Even though his dad's like, "Hey, you got this. You can have my truck." Well, he was representative of the norm. Of the I don't know, just sort of social convention. Right. I'm gonna stay at home and work on this farm in this collapsing society because that's just what we do, and I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to rock the boat. And even scoffed at his father for his kind of dreamer quality,
Right,
and
right.
Murph, where they're both dreamers. They always had their head in the stars, and then these guys who are the farmers had their feet on the ground, and they
Right.
were like, "What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Right?
John Lithgow.
Yeah. So what was the question? Is it worth it? Should McConaughey have stayed with
Murph.
because he could have just lived a much more comfortable
Right,
life.
because it wasn't until Murph's kids would anything bad really, really, devastating would have happened.
Yeah, where he could have just hung out on the porch having beers with his father-in-law, raising his kids, feeling unfulfilled ultimately.
Sure, getting the black lung.
Getting the black lung, feeling unfulfilled.
So now we're getting back to Lear, because we were saying, well, you can't live a normal life if you don't essentially die for your truth. Because you always have that PTSD inside of you that you did something that you could have been doing more, yearning. Right.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. He did what he had to do. And it's like, but again, there's that question of like the truth and the plan and the mystery of the plan, where even resisting the plan is actually part of the plan.
Right.
So even one, could he have, chosen? Yeah, I guess he could have. Let's assume there's free will and he could have. But would that have then become part of the plan somehow?
Right.
Perhaps. And there is sacrifice. It does speak to sacrifice. I mean, people who are hugely accomplished, there is a level of sacrifice. They're spending ridiculous amounts of time on whatever project it is and sacrificing time with loved ones or whatever else in order to progress whatever their mission is, whatever that project is. So I don't know. It's just up to the individual. And it's like, if he didn't do it, would someone else have? Maybe not.
Right.
Ultimately, within that universe, was it worth it? Yeah, it was, because the human race literally would not have, like, that was the stakes. The human race would have gone extinct.
Sure.
If Matthew McConaughey didn't choose to leave his daughter for her entire lifetime and go into the fifth dimension.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I would do, honestly. It would it'd be a hard choice.
Well, that movie has you have more of a connection to that movie.
Oh,
because
sure. The only movie to ever make me weep.
Yeah. That's wild.
Both times I saw
Yeah.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
The emotion that's driven through the narrative of the father-daughter is masterful.
And the daughter's 10 years old, which is Dalton's age.
Exactly.
Single father.
Yes.
So it definitely like maps onto your life pretty well.
Don't let me go, Dalton. Come on, Tars.
Yeah.
Me and Dolly actually talked about this.
Like, just in case it ever happens.
We did. I told her I'd never go to the fourth dimension without you. And
was she like, Dad, if you had to, I would accept it?
She was like, we can go, she said. And she was kind of like Murph's thing was like, why didn't you take me with you?
Right.
You left me here.
Murph could have gone.
Murph could have gone. Why couldn't a Murph gone?
Oh, here's why Murph couldn't have gone.
Murph had to be there.
Murph had to be on Earth, because then later, exactly.
Yeah.
Later in her life, she would.
But what I do like is the ending when Murph is like, I have my kids for me now. And like
when she's an old woman,
and celebrated. Yeah. And honestly, Dalton's a genius, so she would save the world for sure.
Probably. Yeah.
And like one of the spacecrafts would be written after her,
Yeah, I can see
but
that.
it's a tough choice, because in the show The Last of Us, spoiler alert, season 1, there's a father daughter sort of dynamic, although it's not his daughter, but she's like his daughter. And comes to find out she's immune to the zombies.
Cool.
In this world, right?
Yeah.
And he's taking her to the fireflies, who are like the low techs, who are gonna get her blood and like figure out a cure for everyone.
Okay.
But he comes to find out that they have to break her skull open to get like some shit. Essentially, kill
it's
her.
the worst when that happens.
Right.
That's terrible.
Essentially, kill her to get the cure.
Right.
So he goes into the hospital, he kills all of them and saves her.
To save her, but
and
then
she
they don't get the
resented
cure.
him from there on in the next season, you know.
Wow.
So I don't know if I would be like, you know, more Pedro Pascal or do the Matthew McConaughey move. You know, it's a tough choice.
Right.
It's a really tough choice.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. Yeah, it's a tough choice. I think it's a choice we make every day, you know?
I got one for you here.
Yeah, sure.
Back to the spirituality, I'm thinking. In the movie, they're always talk about they came and they helped us, this sort of externalized larger power.
Right.
And we don't know who they are, this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens at the end? McConaughey tells Tars, it's not they, it's we made it in the future.
We are they.
We are they. Yeah. So
self,
you have that cool little back to the Buddha.
Totally. Yeah.
Where we're all the Buddha, you know, we all have this power to sort of, you know, build our own future.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. That makes me think of the synchronicity.
Ooh.
The J to J synchronicity.
Right.
Can we go into this a bit? Because look, like, all right. So we watched Interstellar, and that movie's there's a lot of synchronicities and what are these random connections that are happening and the way that the mysterious plan fits together and all of that.
Right.
So then a couple of days after, I'm riding my bike, I stop over here, and just we're chatting, just like, hey, what you been up to? And I said, I was like, yeah, I was writing the prologue for the Zen book, you know, that I'm working on. And you were like, wait, you were writing a prologue? When? You know, and I was like, oh, yesterday, just like last night, just working on a prologue. And you were like, I was working on a prologue last night, you know, for Dreams of Jare.
So fucking weird.
Dude, so weird.
I literally went to bed happy about how good this prologue
Same
came out.
here.
So
I was like
weird.
really satisfied with my prologue. So we were both lying in bed just like...
we had never wrote a prologue ever. No, I never wrote a prologue in my life.
The word prologue has never been even used in our conversations and discussion with one another.
Yes.
I've never written one. You've never written one. I've never thought about writing one.
Prologue was really good.
We've never talked about prologues. Just prologue was just not a thing. And then all of a sudden it turns out the same day, the same time of day.
Right. 2025.
We're both working on separate prologues. Feeling good about those prologues and then going to sleep being like, man, that was a good prologue.
And I woke up and was like, man, I gotta tell Jared about that prologue. Dude, I gotta send him that.
So weird. Like, what is happening? What is that?
Yeah, it just doesn't even make sense. This is scarier than any synchronicity I'd ever.
It makes no sense.
I get chills even thinking about it. It's so creepy.
So weird.
You know?
Yeah.
And what is that sort of fourth dimensional thing? I think if we could channel, we could be like, you know, fortune tellers, essentially.
It's always, prophets. From what I've heard, just from random ass people, take it or leave it, that it's really auspicious, that it's a positive thing. Like Carl Jung and people into that sort of stuff would be like, yeah, synchronicity. I mean, it's like a wink and a nod from the universe. Just like, hey, you're cool. Keep going on the path you're on. Like it's, you know, good job. Keep going, you know? I went to this Tibetan Buddhist ceremony thing here in Santa Fe. My roommate, Zach, he's into Tibetan Buddhism and invited me along and we go. And the Tibetan Buddhists are way more, I guess, into that sort of, I don't know, trippier side of spirituality.
Right.
They're not just like the Zen guys are like just meditation. And then the Tibetans are like really into like dreams and all that kind of stuff. Right. So we get there and it's this 3-day ceremony thing. We only go for the last little bit of it. And then the guy leading it, the Rinpoche, the teacher was like, he was like, yeah, and it happens to be my birthday today. And this is totally unusual that like my birthday would fall on the day of the ceremony. He's like, it's really cool. It feels good. It's like auspicious. You know, he's just like, that's a cool little synchronicity for me. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And he's like a Tibetan guy. Dude's from Tibet, you know. And then I'm flipping through this little handbook, their chant book, prayer book, whatever it is. And the first page I open to, this is written by this guy, this monk from 1,000 years ago, who has a dream. And then in the dream, a priestess comes up to him and says, remember this prayer, and says the prayer to him, right? And then he writes down the prayer, and now it's this chant, you know? And the guy says that he's 33 when that happens, and that he was in the practice of writing down his dreams and all of that. And dreams are really important to me. I'm typically writing down my dreams and all of that. I'm 33 years old, and it's the first page I open up to. So it's just kind of like, oh, that's cool. You know, just like whatever, for whatever it's worth. It was just kind of like, oh, that's neat, you know? And then actually it was a dream that brought me to that Tibetan center. I had a dream once where I was chanting within a room full of Tibetan Buddhists, got curious about that dream, told my roommate about it, and he was like, oh, that's sick. Do you want to come to the Tibetan Buddhist Center with me and check it out? And I go, yeah, sure, why not? And then the first page I open up to is about a 33-year-old man having this dream that brought him to, you know, the practice or whatever.
So weird, yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is going on, you know? And then I told my roommate, and he's a bit more versed, and he's actually doing a PhD in like Eastern philosophy and Tibetan philosophy and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, that's all like within their philosophy. That's all good news. You know, it's all like, hey, that's cool. It means that there's some kind of healthy sort of connection going on.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, all right. That's, and he told me that the Tibetan word for it, but I forgot, but it's essentially synchronicity.
Right. So. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that I like the thought that it's positive. And if you apply it to Interstellar, same thing, the love, the connection, the synchronicities.
Yeah.
It all leads to positivity.
Right.
To the new world, right?
It's
the continuation of the species, essentially. Yeah. And hopefully, you know, that's the way it is with us too. The prologues, boom, we're getting good luck now, you know, whatever. Gonna prolong our species.
The prologue pod.
What I like too is to think about that though, in terms of just some other narrative stories, a lot of like I know Chinese mythology, etc., where not just love can expand and connect throughout ages,
right?
But revenge and like hatred.
Oh, whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. The like this vengeance thing that can just pull through generations, through ages, keep someone alive, you know?
Oh, yeah.
All these crazy things. And
it's another force. Yeah.
Thinking about that fourth dimensional force is like, that's kind of scary to think of.
It is. And that is, oh my God. Okay. There's two ways I'm going to go this way. Okay, so C.S. Lewis has a short novel called The Great Divorce, right? The Great Divorce. And that title is a reference to William Blake's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, which is its own totally fucking mystical, wild text. And then C.S. Lewis writes The Great Divorce, where he's kind of playing with some of those ideas. And in it, all of these characters die. And then their spirits get on a bus, and the bus drives them up to, you know, the purgatory realm, right? And then all these angels, who were people that they knew who died before them, are waiting for them to be like, hey, we're gonna walk up to the kingdom of heaven together. It's a tough walk, but you'll be really happy when you get there. You know, it takes a while though.
Right.
But it's interesting because the angels that get sent are always problematic people for the new arrivals. It's never, oh, that's my wife I was deeply in love with, and then she brings me up, you know? It's always like, oh, that was the woman or man who cheated on me. That was the boss who fired me without justification.
Right.
And, you know, it's whatever
Crazy.
it was, right? Yeah. Someone that there was always some kind of messy karma with who's there.
Yeah.
And then these angels are like, look, I know that on the Earth realm we had our ship, but trust me that like in this context, that stuff is just gone. And the first step you need to take on this journey is letting go of that and walking with me. And I swear I'm on your side. I want you to be happy. I want you to let go of that pain.
Right.
But then all these characters are like, I can't let go of that. You did this, you did that. I can't let go. Are you kidding me? I can't let go of it.
Right.
And then it's their own desire for vengeance, you know, their own frustration and all of that actually that keeps them from walking towards, you know, that kingdom of heaven.
Right.
Metaphorically, just healing, whatever it is. So that's a really hard step, is to let go of that force of vengeance and hatred and anger. That's a strong force. And I've seen it in myself, where it's like sometimes I get upset and get angry, and it's like so hard to like, I'm just hurting myself with this right now. It's like there's a saying about holding on to resentment is swallowing poison yourself in order to hurt the other person. You know, it makes no sense. And then to let go of that is extremely difficult.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the stuff of stories, the stuff of ages, vengeance over centuries.
Sure.
Between nations.
Right.
You know, people.
Yeah. Wow. Warriors, what have you.
Yeah.
Wild. But I like that too. And of course that goes back to, I'm sure, Buddhist teachings, a lot of religious teaching, Jesus, you know, forgive thy neighbor, you know. Even seeing our gods forgive, right? That's sort of a big sort of thing as well there, you know. I like that C.S. Lewis story. That's pretty wild.
Dude's such a good writer. It's so cool. My favorite.
I don't know how I'd feel if like my worst enemies were like,
oh my God, dude. Yeah. Just like they're like these beautiful light creatures. Yeah. These beautiful light creatures.
Man. Yeah.
Who are like, hey, come on, let's go. And you're like, you fuck.
Right.
You know?
Where are you leading me?
Dude. Freaking Tom from Interstellar shows up like, hey, I'm trying to bring you to the kingdom of heaven.
Good Tom.
Casey Affleck, Timothy Chalamet, be like, oh my God.
Yeah. Just have to forgive him though for his stupid head, you know.
Yeah. So it's tough, dude. It's tough. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, it's interesting. I think what ultimately is that our actions, the things that we do, say, feel inside, even think about, have larger repercussions along our lifetime than we could ever really imagine.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of these synchronicities, stuff like that, it's really revolves around your own karma, sort of say, and your own, you know, train of thought, your own stream of consciousness. And back to the river episode, is your stream clean? Is it flowing? Right. Are there dams that need to be removed?
Man, I got some dams I got to remove. Yeah.
We all do, though.
We all do. Yeah.
You know, and that's the great thing about the prophets too. Matthew McConaughey is we all have things to work on, to do, right? Yeah. He wasn't a perfect character by any means, you know.
Yeah.
But he ended up going, and you know.
Yeah. And I like that. They are we. It was us the whole time. Right? It's all of us. And I think that's the cool thing that maybe gets a little bit lost in Interstellar, because it does do the chosen one kind of narrative. Sure. You know, McConopod's the chosen one, or Murph or whatever. But it's the chosen, like all of us are the chosen one. And I think that's the true prophet who sees the prophet in everyone else, and if anything is like, no, I'm not the prophet. Like St. Francis has that prayer. You know, I pray that I may, I pray that I may understand rather than seek to be understood. You know, it's like putting the focus elsewhere. It's like, it's not about me. It's not, hey, look at me, I'm the prophet. It's like, no, it's about what can I give? What can I do for others? So much easier said than done, you know?
And then because it's everyone, that's sort of the story of like the apostles too.
Yeah.
Without Judas, without, you know, Paul, this stuff, the story wouldn't have aligned for the Jesus figure. Right. You know, it would have all imploded. So it takes, you know, the whole collective to get progress done or to find a sense of peace and safety. Same with Anne Hathaway and all them. If she wasn't there, if she didn't fall in love with that dude, you know, Michael Caine,
that was Anne Hathaway's role. If Anne Hathaway didn't have a crush on freaking Dr. Whatever who flies to that other planet, they would have never eventually made their way to that planet. Exactly. So even down to the very minutia, you know, it's all part of it. It's all part of the plan. Right. Even this dumb little crush on Dr. Wolfram or whatever his name was.
Right. Sidebar, I really did like the Ben Affleck character. Matt Damon. Matt Damon's character.
He was the shadow character.
Yeah, he was the shadow. Yeah. But he was also inside of all of us too, because fear and grief is also a feeling that stretches across time and space. He pressed the button and lied down to sleep thinking he'd never get woken up again. You know? But the guy's a madman. I really do love those scenes, and he has a really good, like, again, sort of back to like this Shakespearean villain character where, you know, there is deep reasoning there behind his wanting to get the fuck out and go to that other planet, right? But also he's dooming essentially the whole entire mission, or at least, you know, he almost does.
Yeah.
Do you see your daughter's eyes? I'm sorry, I can't look at you. I'm sorry, I thought I could. Oh man.
So just the amount of shame and So, that's a good character.
Also, really good sci-fi, like just amazing that a planet like 1 hour equals 7 years, and you feel the gravity of it.
Definitely.
Like the whole entire time they're on there, and then stupid Anne Hathaway like going back for that thing, and like, you know, they end it. Oh, Murph, you're just thinking Murph's getting so old now, he's missing out, painful, you know. And then he gets on the ship and he turns the movie on, the like famous meme reel where he's like crying in front of the show as they grow old. Oh man, that shit's crazy.
So good.
And then no Murph until the end, when she's like, "Hey, Dad," you know. Oh man,
seeing it's this level of trust in that mysterious plan. Not to sound too Christian or whatever about it, but like, okay, because in that moment, Matthew McConaughey, they're on the water planet, and Anne Hathaway's freaking spending way too much time, you know, doing whatever she was doing, like trying to take samples or something. And the whole thing is that time on Earth is moving way faster than the time where they're at. And so, Murph, he's missing out on his child's entire life minute by minute, but each minute 7 years on Earth. So you're like, oh, fuck, oh no, there's so much drama. And in that moment, McConaughey's character is like freaking out, dude. The level of fear, grief, anxiety, like that dude's totally dysregulated. Oh my God, freaking out. And there's no part of him. Like if you went up to him in that moment and were like, hey, it's all part of a plan.
Right.
I promise you this doesn't make sense, but I promise you in, you know, whatever amount of time, this is going to make all the sense and there's going to be all this resolution and closure and all of that. He'd be like, you're insane. I'm missing my daughter's life. So like us too, in those moments of just like freaking out, what is happening? This hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. But then finding maybe just like the littlest crumb of trust of like, maybe this is going somewhere.
Right.
Hopefully. I don't know. Doesn't feel like it often, but.
Right. Because what's happening is it's like you're going from being able to meditate on a situation to like a visceral, very much in id just takes over survival.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Fear, anxiety, you know, and it's hard to regulate decision making.
Yeah.
When that's happening.
And you made that great point in the King Lear pod that when you are in the abyss, freaking screaming and your buddy's eyes have just gotten ripped out and the fool is fucking riding on your shoulders through the storm, that's when you're actually closest to some sort of awakening or realization, because that's when you are getting so deeply triggered for a reason. You know, all of your defense mechanisms are up because whatever, life isn't going the way you want it to go. But then that's the moment where you can say, oh, wait, maybe I'm not my defense mechanisms.
Right.
Maybe I actually don't even need these defense mechanisms. That's not who I am. And then it drops and you go, oh, fuck, I'm okay.
Right.
You know, so when, like you said, in that moment of abyss, that's when you're actually closest to realization. Same thing with the McConaughey thing. When you're freaking out the most, that's actually when you're most in line with the.
And where did he have to go beyond the horizon?
Right.
Beyond the horizon of the black hole, where that's the only thing that could complete the equation to save beyond us and humanity, to go beyond, to go a place that where you're afraid to go, that you can't see the other side. But the answers are there. Are you brave enough to take your ship, you and Tars, you know?
Right. So difficult, dude. And in the Buddhism, it's got so much references to this kind of stuff. They have the paramitas, which are teachings, and the paramita, the actual translation, means the other shore. Get to the other side, you know?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The other side of yourself, ultimately.
Right.
Or in Greek mythology,
the ferryman.
The ferryman, yeah.
Taking you to the other side across, of the river. Yeah. What's the river called? He paddles across the river Styx.
The river Styx. And the river Styx is you. It's getting you to the other side of yourself.
Right.
You know, beyond, through the black hole.
Right.
And that's what I like about sci-fi too, is it takes all these ancient mythological spiritual themes and then puts this hyper modern spin on it.
Right.
You know, and repackages it for the 21st century and beyond.
Right.
You know? Go beyond the horizon. Go into the black hole where nothing can be seen. Which I also
like the point it just reminded me of the point you brought up when we're watching the movie, is how is there's like an inversion of like the farmers are actually the regressives, not the progressives. And it's the technology and going to the stars.
Oh, right.
That's sort of the, you know, the low techs, the out of the box thinkers, you know, the more liberal way of going about it instead of the conservative, you know.
Right.
And what I like, boom, it's yet again another sort of link in an old episode, is technology and the growth of it is actually bringing us back to nature. It's bringing us back to that which we think has been lost because of technology.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And who's his only connection at the end, until of course he meets Anne Hathaway, but is Tars. Right. He like reconnects Tars and boom, there's his village. There's his friendship.
That's his friendship. Yeah. Whew.
Do it, Tars. Come on, Tars.
Yeah.
Also some good like Stanley Kubrick, homages.
I like that a lot. Yeah. That was really cool.
I honestly find it to be the best Christopher Nolan movie ever made.
Nice.
For me, it's just like right on it with the script.
Yeah.
All the actors are incredible. There's so many good actors in that movie.
Dude, that was cool. Yeah, just so many big actors.
And also, upon second watch, McConaughey should have won like Best Actor for that movie. Oh, he did
incredible. He's an incredible amazing actor. Yeah, he is an amazing actor. Yeah. I like too the human. The human aspect never gets lost. I mean, that's one criticism you can make of Space Odyssey, Kubrick.
Right.
Is that it's almost too far beyond the human that you lose you lose some interest at points, you know, of Space Odyssey. Whereas with this, they're doing all this crazy amount of science and tech and robots and what is the human and all of this stuff, but it always comes back to human relationships. And that's what keeps driving the story. His father's relationship to his daughter, the way in which he doesn't give a shit about his son Tom. Anne Hathaway's love. It always comes back to, okay, great, we're in this hyper advanced society, but who cares if you don't have love, connection, all that.
Exactly. Yeah, beautiful.
On behalf of the Jareds, thank you for listening. Follow, rate, and tell your friends. The Jareds will be back next time, and always remember, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Have a great weekend.